Hello, everyone.
What's
We're
up?
back. Welcome back. It's the weekend. We're super excited about it because, honestly, we just get a break from the day jobs and we get to come and talk to you guys about the entertainment industry. It's so freaking
Yes.
fun. But man, oh man, it's going to be a great show. I'm super excited about it. Got to adjust some lights real quick. Oh, goodness gracious, got some phlegm. It's that time of the year. Got some phlegm in the back
Phlegm.
of the
Thanks for
throat.
sharing. Thanks for sharing.
For sure. For sure. All right, give me 1 second and I'll adjust some lights and yeah, we'll get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, buddy. Well, and talk about, hey, welcome all the new followers and new watchers, if you guys will. Speaking of Watcher and Witcher and all the kind of good, so we got a ton of Netflix news. It was a busy week in Hollywood. And you guys know if it's happening in Hollywood, we are talking about it. So we've got you covered with everything that went down, cancellations, renewals, new castings, dates pushed back, new hirings, new firings, everything, man. Our top 5 this week is like really good. It's top 5 films that scared the shit out of us. Like that's going to be awesome. And it was difficult cuz I'm not scared real easy. So a lot of them on my list were when I was a little kid. Cuz then it scared me, but like now I'm having a hard time with horror movies. What about you guys? Have you found anything terrifying lately? Well, you're going to find out what we thought was terrifying. We have a great guest this week, guys. You're going to love it. But as J-Lo's getting back on here, we're going to tell you all about everything.
For sure, man. For sure. It is going to be fun. Jesse Arthur Carroll. If you don't know who that is, he is a world-renowned voice actor and does get in front of the camera as well. But you have heard his voice literally everywhere and you don't even know it because he's on like all the commercials and he's fucking amazing. So be sure to listen to that interview.
He's actually talking right now. No,
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
I'm kidding.
Exactly.
He probably could, though.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, if you guys are used to this, you guys know we're about to do the promo. But if you're new to it, we're going to do a promo first for social media's sake, and then we'll lead into the show. We're going to take little tiny breaks at the beginning. That is for the podcast purpose, to cut together and put in some music for the actual podcast platform listening. So that's what all that's for. We like to give you a little behind the scenes of what the podcast is and what we do. So that's the beauty of the YouTube Live. But we're going to do the promo first, and then we're going to jump right into the thing. What's up, guys? If you're watching this video right now, that means episode 211
Woo!
of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm is available right now on all podcast platforms, featuring the one, the only Jesse Arthur Carroll.
Yes, fantastic, phenomenal, superb voice actor. Also does work in front of the camera, and he shares some amazing advice for all you up-and-comers and goes into great detail about the differences and similarities between voice acting and on-camera acting. So it's a really good one. Plus, we've got everything that happened in Hollywood, you guys. This was a really busy week. Hey, Henry Cavill back as Superman. Spoiler alert. How does that affect Witcher? We'll tell you, and it might not be the way you want it to, but so much more too, dude. It's a busy show.
It really is. A lot of cancellations and a lot of good stuff coming out of Hollywood, but we'll be sure to talk to you about it. And man, oh man, it's going to be a great show, but be sure to like and subscribe. All right, now it is time. We're super excited. We got the one and only Jesse Arthur Carroll coming on the show to talk about anything and everything, especially voice acting, which I believe is a hidden gem in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely. And this guy is so passionate about what he does. Literally the entire interview, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, he smiles the whole time. It's infectious. You will be smiling halfway through the interview, guaranteed. I mean, it's a gem of an interview. You guys are going to love this one.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, that's later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Episode 211 is brought to you by the one and only J-Lo Fantastic and the one and only Mouth. Man, oh man, you guys know your host with the most. But before we get this thing started and tease the rest of the show, be sure to leave a rating on the podcast, comment below, tell us what you think about the show. Leaving a rating actually helps the podcast get seen by more people, especially those who enjoy entertainment news and those trying to break into the entertainment industry. That's what this podcast is all about, for those breaking into the entertainment industry. So you know how to be in the room when it happens, man. Oh
Yes.
man, we're super excited because there's a lot of good stuff coming out of Hollywood, like Avatar: The Way of the Water. Freaking new trailer dropped, and of course Westworld got canceled. That one's very confusing, and we're
Yeah.
gonna dive deep into that one. But of course Black Panther also comes out next week, so there's some stuff about Marvel. Oh my goodness, guys, there's a lot of stuff happening in Hollywood. But before we get that started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got shirts, we got hats, we got anything and everything you need for this upcoming holiday season.
Facts.
And be sure to follow us at Crazy Ant Media and at ITCAFpodcast and our personal ones as well, so that you can stay up to date with the sales we have going on in our store. That is very important because everything is so damn good and crazy, but you only get them while supplies last.
No, and if they're great sales. I know a few people that just took advantage of this last one with 20% off the whole purchase. So, I mean, come on, guys. That's like fantastic.
For
So-
sure. Thanksgiving Day, it's 35%
Woo!
off.
Yeah.
Insane, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely insane.
That's like almost half off. It's so worth it.
Exactly.
It's damn near free shipping. So, I mean, hey.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Man, oh man. Starting off with Disney, though, like
Of
I
course.
said, we're talking about Avatar: The Way of the Water. 20th Century Studios released that new trailer a few weeks ahead of its highly anticipated sci-fi sequel, December 16th release date. Now, the second installment in the franchise sees the return of Stephen Lang's villain character as Colonel Quaritch, who is seemingly revived through Navi Avatar form. Now, once again, at odds with Pandora native Neytiri, who's played by Zoe Saldana, and her mate, Jake Sully, Sam Worthington, set over a decade after the original film, which took place in 2154.
Yeah.
Now, the newly released trailer shows glimpses of Jake and Neytiri cozying up as a family. Viewers are given a deeper look at the couple's Naviri's children, Natium, who's played by Jamie Flatters, Look, who's played by Brittany Dalton, and Tukturi, who's played by Trinity Bliss, and Kiri, who's played by another person, returning to the franchise in a whole new role. So that's very exciting. If you want to take a crack at that name, you are more
Sigourney
than
Weaver?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
See, you hear it, and it sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
but
you know
see
her,
it.
you love her. She's very familiar with James Cameron after Alien. Hello, yeah.
Exactly.
And this character that she's playing is actually based on his real life daughter. So, I'm not impressed. I saw the trailer and I'm just like, if you've seen Aquaman or even if you've seen the trailer from Wakanda Forever and you see the underwater stuff with Namor and everything, it's just back in the day, the original Avatar was like groundbreaking. It's the first time anybody's really ever seen anything like that. But now everybody's doing it. And I just don't think it's been on a level ramped up so much that it's again groundbreaking. I just think it's like, oh, okay, well, we've seen this. So now it's going to wholly come down to the story. And I don't know. I'm not that impressed. Also, how will it do at the box office, right? We know the first one's still the highest grossing of all time because he's re-released it 5,000 fucking times. But this one says sources indicate that Avatar: The Way of the Water will clock in, get this, guys and gals, at more than 3 hours. No exact final runtime has been decided. Disney has provided no comment, but Cameron himself has publicly said it's a long movie. The original was 2 hours and 41 minutes. News of the runtime began leaking when the film was rated PG-13. The runtime was also posted on the theater websites. So well over 3 hours long, guys. That means it's limited to how many showings it can have, which of course limits how many tickets can be sold and how much money it makes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Definitely don't think it's going to be as successful as the original, like
I don't
you
think
just
so
said.
either.
But I do think for the younger audience, because I've seen a lot of kids talking about this one. I mean, they're really excited. So we'll see how that goes.
Which is interesting that you brought that up because a lot of people that were so blown away by the first one, I do not hear talking about it.
Yeah.
They're all talking about Wakanda or whatever. They're not talking about Avatar. So it will be interesting to see if that balances out or not.
Exactly, because remember we went and saw Jurassic World, like the kids in front of us, like teenage kids, they were
Yeah.
like super excited about it and super like in awe that the trailer was showed. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
Sure.
Reasonable Doubt, Onyx Collective's first scripted series, is getting a special airing of its premiere episode on ABC. The debut episode of the legal drama series, which streams on Hulu, will air Thursday, November 10th at 10:01 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's very specific.
Very specific. The series, which premiered on Hulu on September 27th, hails from writer and executive producer Ramila Mohammed, who leads an all-black writing staff on the series, and executive producer and director Kerry Washington. Now, Mitzi Corndelili stars as Judge Jack Stewart. Per the logline, you'll judge Jack Stewart for her questionable ethics and wild interpretations of the law until you're the one in trouble. Then you'll see her for what she is, the most brilliant and fearless defense attorney in Los Angeles who bucks the justice system at every chance she gets. So that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, questionable means, but if you need her, you want her, right? Like,
Most
that's going to be cool. All right, so now we're moving on. This was pretty huge news this week, and it's another person that's making the shift from one comic book genre and studio to the other. I'm of course talking about Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He's set to jump from DC to Marvel and join the Disney Plus series Wonder Man as Simon Williams, who of course transforms into the long-awaited superhero. Now, this is causing some controversy already by a bunch of dumbass racist people because they're saying, he's black and Wonder Man isn't black, and why are they casting a black person? To all of you, shut the fuck up.
Thanks.
Anyway, filmmaker Dustin Daniel Cretton. Why does that name sound familiar? Well, because he directed 2021's feature Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, is actually developing Wonder Man as part of his overall deal with Marvel Studios and Onyx Collective. Cretton may direct the series as well, though he's got a crowded plate. He's already set to direct 2025's Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and he's expected to helm the Shang-Chi sequel. Now, in the comic books, if you guys aren't familiar, Williams is the son of a wealthy industrialist whose company, Williams Innovations, is run out of business due to competition from everybody's favorite, Tony Stark and Stark Industries. In desperation, Simon turns to Baron Zemo. Yeah, you guys know him and love him. We've got a lot of them already in the MCU. He gives Simon superpowers and directs him to infiltrate and then betray the Avengers. Now, eventually, however, Simon joins the Avengers in earnest and is even a founding member of the spin-off team, the West Coast Avengers, which all you geeks know, if you've been following, they've been setting up also in the MCU over the past couple of years. However, it's unclear how much or little of this storyline will actually make its way into the series, but knowing what we know from what we've seen with little Easter eggs and stuff, I'm betting quite a bit of it. It does seem likely, though, that Williams' comic book history as an actor and stunt performer will come into play into the show, as Ben Kingsley is set to return as the failed actor turned reformed villain, Trevor Slattery. I love that. And he is, of course, originated in 2013's Iron Man 3 and then reprised in Shang-Chi. Marvel Studios has not yet announced a premiere date for Wonder Man. So much going on with that. That's a great storyline, West Coast Avengers and the battling of the Avengers and all that kind of stuff. But there's another very interesting one, guys. At some point, he is responsible for helping Vision. And we all know Vision is getting his own series, if you listened to the show last week, of getting Vision's memories back. And Simon falls in love with Scarlet Witch, which causes problems with Vision and Scarlet Witch, obviously. And there's so much to unpack, and I can't wait to see that show. I think it's going to be fucking epic.
Oh, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, something else epic happening in the MCU. Audrey Plaza is joining Catherine Hahn in the upcoming Marvel Studios series, Agatha Coven of Chaos. And Disney Plus, of course. The series, as we told you, is a spinoff of the Marvel show WandaVision, with Hahn set to reprise the role of Agatha Harkness. Now, exact plot details, including the character Plaza would be playing in the show, are being kept under wraps, of course. Emma Claudefield Ford is also set to reprise the role of Dottie from WandaVision in the new series. Heartstopper star Joe Locke has also been cast in the spinoff, along with Ali An from Raising Dion and Maria Dizia. from all the good things. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Man,
a lot of good stuff.
yeah, they're rounding out that cast something fierce. I love Aubrey Plaza. So,
Yeah.
and if you guys know, it's not the first, foray into Marvel, not the MCU, but she was involved in Marvel with Legion. Remember, she was on Legion. Fantastic show. Disney Plus, this sounds exciting, announced the new original special Encanto at the Hollywood Bowl with an introduction by Lin-Manuel Miranda himself. Will launch Wednesday, December 28th on the streamer. The 2-night concert event will take place at the Hollywood Bowl on November 11th and 12th, so this coming week. The original voice cast of Encanto will reunite at the Bowl, and the event will also feature special guests, including Colombian stars Carlos Vives and Andrea Cepeda. The live-to-film concert experience, including an 80-person orchestra, 50 dancers, and special effects, will, of course, center on the characters and songs of Disney's animations Encanto, which I would hope so.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool, though.
Oh, for sure.
I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Friendly. FX has placed a pilot order for The Answers with Kit Stellingkiller set to write and executive produce. Darren Orfrowski from Kindred and One Strange Rock, and Danny Strong from Dope Sick and Empire will also executive produce. The 1-hour drama pilot will be produced by 20th Television as part of Disney Television Studios. Based on the novel of the same name by Catherine Lacey, the official logline for the series states that it follows a young woman who, out of a heartbreak, embarks on a mysterious experiment that promises to hack love.
Oh.
But after the program moves her to a private location with the other fellow female participants, she and her cohorts soon realize they have all been simultaneously dating the same man.
Oh.
Wow, that sounds very interesting.
And all kinds of trouble.
All kinds of trouble, man. Damn.
Danny Strong, what are you doing? I like that, though. I mean, original. It's an original concept.
Most definitely. That's what we're asking for.
Exactly. Jumping to Fox now. Fox has unveiled the first on-air promo for its upcoming anthology drama, Accused. The project comes from 24 executive producers Howard Gordon and Alex Ganza, and House creator and executive producer David Shore. Now, as we've told you, the stellar cast includes Rachel Bilson, Whitney Cummings, Oscar nominee Abigail Breslin, Emmy winners Michael Chiklis, Margot Martindale, Molly Parker, Rhea Perlman, Malcolm Jamal Warner, along with Wendell Pierce, Jack Davenport, our buddy Reed Miller, and former guest. Each episode opens in a courtroom on the accused without knowing their crime and how they ended up on trial. Accused is told from the defendant's point of view, and viewers discover how an ordinary person got caught up in an extraordinary situation, ultimately revealing how one wrong turn leads to another until it's too late to turn back. I love that it opens up and we have no idea why they're on trial.
Most definitely.
And then we have to hear from their point of view what the fuck happened. And that's different. And you get all these legal shows and law shows and they're all kind of formulaic, but this one definitely a different view on it. Defendant's view. But I like that. I'm excited about that.
For sure. It seems like a lot of courtroom dramas and legal dramas are coming back into the spotlight, and I'd love to see that. Now heading over to Warner Brothers Discovery, Black Adam is still atop of the hierarchy of power at the box office, at least for this last weekend. The Warner Brothers release looks to claim the top spot of the domestic charts again for its third weekend in a row, staying ahead of the new release One Piece film, Red. The DC film earned an additional $4.7 million yesterday on Thursday. Now, that is down 37% from its numbers 1 week ago. No shit. Whoever that guy was last week, I hope you're listening.
It's down 37%.
Black Adam, which hasn't faced a much major competition since its release in October, is expected to put up a healthy hold, expanding its domestic gross beyond $120 million, which isn't too shabby.
No.
It'll be the film's last round ruling at the box office, though, because like I said, next week is Marvel's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And you guys know that's going to be a huge opening weekend. I'm guessing maybe 130 to 150. I know that's a wide range right now, but man, oh man, a lot of people are really anticipating this thing.
I think it's going to be even higher.
I think so.
I do. I think it's going to be like Spider-Man level. I think it's going to be massive, but we'll see. We'll find out.
For sure.
No doubt it's going to be a huge hit either way.
Exactly.
You know what else seems to be a huge hit? HBO Max and Discovery Plus and HBO. No shit, right?
Love it.
Warner Brothers Discovery saw streaming subscriptions rise to nearly 95 million. So they're closing in on that coveted 100 million. Now, keep in mind, though, that's combined global customers across HBO, HBO Max, and Discovery Plus from July 1st to September 30th, the quarter during which the highly anticipated Game of Thrones prequel House of Dragon took flight. So that definitely helps.
No, most definitely. And I love it too because HBO Max is my favorite streaming service. So I love to see it. But as the David Zaslav led company works towards unifying the streaming platforms into one streaming service, now combining all three of those into one next summer, following its April acquisition of Warner Media and Warner Brothers Discovery, again decided not to break out HBO and HBO Max subscribers in its quarterly earnings results. Instead, Warner Brothers Discovery revealed the new overall total along with its quarter 3 report. Now, on the earnings call, Zaslav said that the company has moved up its target date for the launch for the merged HBO Max Discovery Plus streaming platform to spring of 2023. So that's just around the corner in the US from the previous timeline of next summer. Now, I really hope they don't call it HBO Max dash Discovery Plus because I mean that's a mouthful, and you're just going to end up saying HBO Max anyway.
Yeah, well, since he's a Discovery guy, I'm betting we're going with Discovery Plus.
I really hope.
I mean, I like HBO Max, and guys, if you weren't paying it, so they're rolling HBO into HBO Max and then merging HBO Max with Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
So who knows what the fuck they're gonna call it? Whatever it'll be, I'll hate it because I hate Zaslav. Moving on. I can't help it. The only good decision the man has made in the entire time is hiring James Gunn and Peter Safran. That's all I'm saying. HBO, like this is a bad decision. HBO has canceled Westworld after 4 seasons, the network announced yesterday. The news comes just under 3 months after the series aired its season 4 finale, August 14th. You guys know, right? It was picked up for season 5, remember? Well, I've got some news on that. Sources say that a multitude of factors went into the decision. I call bullshit. It's just Zaslav. To end the sci-fi drama, including the production's hefty price tag, combined with dwindling viewership and an ongoing evaluation of programming across the board at HBO's new parent, Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, there is some sort of a silver lining for the cast, though, as sources say they will be paid for season 5, regardless of the fact that it won't be produced. And that's because, and everybody loves these, the core cast had pay or play deals for season 5. Yeah, that's what you get that way. You either pay if you don't play, and that's how it's going down.
Exactly.
Now, as we've told you, the David Zaslav run company has been paring back spending as part of a plan to institute $3.5 billion in cost-saving synergies, which the business has promised to find over the next 3 years post the merger. However, even on the heels of a rough third quarter earnings report, Zaslav has continued to underline the importance of a healthy content spend, and HBO has several high-profile, big-budget dramas that make it clear the premium cabler isn't cutting back overall, including House of Dragon, Euphoria, and the upcoming Last of Us adaptation. I know what you're thinking. Wait, they're trying to cut money, but they're spending money. I know everything he says is a contradiction, like in the same breath, every time he says anything.
Yeah.
There's no telling what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I would try to play devil's advocate and say that they want their main franchises, which I would say is, Game of Thrones world and Harry Potter and those type of things. But then you bring The Last of Us, which is just another chance you're taking. So it's like you can't even try to argue that defense. So it's just, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
And you're right. And he says franchises in DC. He's stressed the importance of the DC Studios universe now and the emphasis on the DC characters. And yet you'll see a little further down in the Warner Brothers news, he is continuing to chop and get rid of DC properties.
Exactly.
It makes no sense, man.
It doesn't. But a lot of people are very curious about this next one because a lot of controversy and a lot of weird stuff and a lot of pedophilia.
He didn't spit on him.
He didn't. The spit gate. Don't Worry, Darling is coming to HBO Max a little over 6 weeks after the film hit theaters. The psychological thriller directed by Olivia Wilde will make its streaming debut exclusively on HBO Max on Monday, November 7th. Don't Worry, Darling from New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Pictures stars Wilde alongside Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Gemma Chan, Kiki Lane, and Chris Pine, of course. Now, the film has generated considerable offset drama, like we were just joking about. Rumors circulated for months that Wilde and Pugh had feuded on set. Now, then the drama erupted around Shia LaBeouf's exit from the film, with LaBeouf leaking a video of Wilde trying to get him back, despite Pugh's clear reservations about working with him. Now, meanwhile, at Venice Film Festival, Styles allegedly spit on Chris Pine. Both of their reps denied such act took place, but don't worry, darling. Topped the box office during its opening weekend, that grossed around 45 million domestically over 5 weeks. The film has a low 38% score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 74% with audience score. So, I mean, take with that what you will. I'm still curious about watching it, so I'll probably end up watching it.
Oh, for sure. Me too. I mean, yeah, that's a huge difference, though. Critics fucking hate it, clearly, but I mean, I guess the fans like it.
For
so
sure.
We'll see. The White Lotus season 2 premiere drew 1.5 million viewers on Sunday night across HBO Max and linear telecast, which is a 63% increase from the season 1 debut, according to HBO. Now, that's interesting because Westworld's current audience is around 4 million.
Yeah.
But they cited declining audience as a reason they canceled that one. Like,
Yeah.
The audience, like I said, was up about 35% compared to season 1, and their live plus same day average for each episode. Now, since the series premiered, season 1 has averaged about 9.3 million total viewers per episode across all platforms, leading up to the season 2 premiere. The first season saw an uptick in viewership, climbing into HBO Max's top 5 most watched series last week. So, okay, take from that what you will. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, man. They don't make any sense right now.
They don't.
Kristen Militoni is joining Colin Farrell in the Batman spin-off series created and centered on Penguin at HBO Max. Exact plot details for the series, which is currently titled The Penguin, are under wraps. Wow. It is believed to take place in the immediate aftermath of the events of The Batman. Now, Farrell will reprise his role as the infamous Batman villain, whom he played in the film. Now, Militoni will star as Sophia Falcone, the daughter of Gotham mob boss Carmine Falcone, who, if you watch the original film, you will know more about that story. John Turturro will played Carmine in the Batman. Then, with the Penguin serving as his right-hand man, Sophia was originally introduced in the Batman comic books in the mid 1990s. Now, Militoni will now be the second actress to portray Sophia in the live-action series, with Crystal Reed having played her in the Fox series Gotham.
Yeah.
So, a lot of good stuff. I'm excited about this series, man. That whole, I guess, universe, because there's so much different shit happening over there, is very exciting to me. And I hope it stays afloat amid, Snyderverse getting revamped. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And she's a great character.
I
mean, so it's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate her into that whole thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly Ripa, kidding. Mark Consuelos has joined the cast of HBO Max's The Girls on the Bus in a recurring role. Consuelos will portray a major Hollywood action star turned politician who joined the presidential race after a Twitter poll said 46% of Americans would vote for him regardless of party affiliation. So that's interesting how they're going to try to incorporate that into a real life story. So that's kind of okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious about that one. The Dead Boy Detective show at HBO Max has added Caitlin Riley and Max Jenkins to its cast in recurring roles. The official series description states it's a fresh take on a ghost story that explores loss, grief, and death through the lens of Edwin Payne and Charles Rowland, two dead British teenagers and their very alive friend, Crystal Palace. Now, so it's a lot of vintage detective series, only darker on acid. The 8-episode series was ordered at HBO Max back in April, and it is based on DC Comics of the same name, as well as Sandman from the characters created by Neil Gaiman and, of course, Matt Wagner. So a lot of different interesting things there. Now, Riley and Jenkins will play Liddy and Kingham, respectively. They are described as tiny foul-mouthed dandelion spirits, and their rude annoyance to the dead boys. So it's going to be very interesting.
For sure. And if you guys are fans of Doom Patrol, you know they briefly introduced those guys on Doom Patrol. So, you got a little hint at, although it appears they're moving with different actors, but
Yeah.
still you kind of saw what they're talking about, who they are. Almost, guys, I can't even believe this. Were you a fan of Christmas Story? Old Ralphie licking the pole, getting the tongue stuck. You know what I'm talking about. It's
Of
fucking
course,
beloved
you'll
classic.
shoot your eye out.
Exactly. Well, almost 40 years after the release of the original, HBO Max has dropped the official trailer for A Christmas Story Christmas, heralding the start of the holiday season and the return of original star Peter Billingsley as Ralphie Parker himself. Now, no longer an adorable tween, the trailer, no, he's kind of old now. The trailer shows the 51-year-old actor attempting to reconnect with his inner child and reconcile with the death of his father by returning to Cleveland Street with his new family, with the goal of giving the kids in his hometown the same type of magical Christmas he once had. Ralphie will encounter childhood friends and make new ones to spread holiday cheer. Now, the upcoming release is set in the 1970s, given the fact that the 1983 original film, A Christmas Story, was set in the 40s.
Okay.
So it makes sense. The film releases on HBO Max on November 17th, so just a couple weeks from now. I'm actually really excited about that.
I am too. And I mean, like I've said a couple of times on the show in the past, it seems like a lot of movies right now are period pieces, which I love. I love going back in time and
For
seeing
sure.
those type of things. Now, faced with their first decision on ordering more of the CW existing scripted series, the network new Nexstar owners opted against it.
Yeah.
There will be no back orders for the CW new fall series of Walker Independence and the Winchesters, whom freshman seasons will remain at the original 13 episodes. Sources say the same would apply to all of the CW freshman series, and that the network's head, Dennis Miller, stressed to producers and talent that no decisions about next season have been made yet. Now, this is indicating that the lack of back orders does not mean cancellations, though. Both Walker Independence and the Winchesters have done well by the CW rating standards and are new chapters in a hugely popular CW franchise. So, under the normal circumstances, full seasons for both shows would be a no-brainer, but there's a lot of shit that they're juggling and trying to figure out over there. So, we'll see how that goes.
And I call total bullshit. They didn't give them a back order for more episodes to get them to 26. They say it doesn't mean it's going to be cancellation, but another CW hit that's doing really well, DC's Stargirl.
Yep.
They did cancel it. It's
Rip.
coming to an end. The series will conclude with its third season, which is currently airing on the CW. New episodes will continue to air on Wednesdays through December 7th. The cancellation of DC Stargirl comes less than a month after Nexstar Media Group completed the acquisition of the network. The production team were given an early indication that it may have been the final season and to write an ending that would reflect that. The decision is thought to have been made by Nexstar executives, and they have clearly signaled that its focus will be retooling the CW and shifting towards unscripted content and shows that appeal to an older audience. So there you go. And I literally saw that he's got this new guy that's kind of in control of everything. He's got like 14 blank post-it notes on the wall. And that's going to be the few. He's going to decide what 14 things move forward. It's not looking good for DC properties, even though Zaslav says that's important. And they are still part owner with Nexstar of the CW, but apparently not.
Yeah.
So all I can say is I hope that Superman and Lois and even Walker Independence and Walker and Winchester, hopefully Zaslav is smart enough to bring that shit over to the combined, whatever they're going to call it, streamer, and give them life. Because I feel like those are all great shows that are going to get the shit shaft if they don't bring them over.
Most definitely. Well, Gossip Girl star Grace Dua has been up to a series regular for the show's upcoming second season, premiering December 1st. Now, Grace plays Sean Barnes, a free spirit and best friend to Zoya Lote, Season 2 will reveal a pivotal details about her character as well as romances and misconnections. So,
Will that one continue? Will
yeah,
Gossip Girl continue? We don't even
exactly.
know. All right, jumping over to Paramount. Lupita, this is an exciting one, y'all. Lupita Nyong'o is in final negotiations to star in the spin-off A Quiet Place Day One, which is the next installment of the Paramount horror franchise. Now, Michael Sarnowski will helm the film, set for release on March 8th, 2024. Story details are being kept under wraps, but it comes from an original idea from John Krasinski, who, of course, directed and co-starred in the first two A Quiet Place movies with Emily Blunt. So that's exciting. If he's involved in any way, I feel like it's going to be good.
Oh, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, CBS is freaking killing it when it comes to television. Once again, they're dominating the fall TV season with its prime time lineup. Now, the network has secured 17 of the 25 most watched entertainment programs of the season so far, including all three of its newest series are Fire Country, which came out which next one is November 17th, East New York, and So Help Me Todd. It should come as no surprise that the network's procedurals are among those of the faring the best. Now, NCIS and FBI are the two most watched series of the fall season, each averaging about 9.6 million viewers per episode. According to the latest Nielsen numbers, CBS has 7 series total in the top 10, including sophomore comedy Ghost at number 7 with 8.9 viewers per episode, and Young Sheldon at number 6 with 9 million viewers per episode. Also, the top 10 are 60 Minutes, Equalizer, and Blue Bloods. So, I mean, they're really killing it. It makes sense, though. It makes sense.
For sure. And if you guys are keeping track, the people that are dominant, the other ones that are Dick Wolf, and all the Law and Orders, they're the ones taking the spots that we didn't tell you. So it's basically, those are the guys. I mean, they're just like Dick Wolf is ruling television on the network side. Streamer side, it's fucking Taylor Sheridan. Like,
literally.
Either way, it's Paramount kicking ass. Oh my gosh, did you guys see this one? The Criminal Minds Behavioral Analysis Unit is back in the upcoming revival series, Criminal Minds Evolution. And Paramount Plus dropped a new trailer for it this week. And let me tell you, if you haven't watched it, it is creepy as fuck. It's kind of scary. I'm not even going to lie. The crime drama series follows the BAU's elite profilers as they face a mysterious antagonist and an unsub who used the pandemic to build a network of serial killers. When the network is set in motion, the team must bring down their greatest threat, one murderer at a time. Now, of course, Joe Mantegna, Kristen Vagnis, AJ Cook, Paget Brewster, Aisha Taylor, and Adam Rodriguez star as their characters from Criminal Minds, while Zach Gilford and Josh Stewart appear as recurring roles. The 10-episode first season of Criminal Minds Evolution will premiere with a 2-episode special right around the corner, November 24th on Paramount Plus. Following the premiere, new episodes will drop weekly on Thursdays until its mid-season finale on December 15th. The season will return on January 12th through February 9th. Emily saw this and she was all like, oh my gosh, she's so in. She loves this show. So.
Exactly. Well, Showtime has pushed the premiere date of season 2 of Your Honor to January of 2023. The 10-episode second season starring Bryan Cranston will now bow on demand and on streaming Friday, which is going to be January 13th of 2023, and on air on Sunday, January 15th at 9 p.m. It was initially scheduled to premiere on streaming on demand on December 9th and on linear December 11th. As of now, the reasoning behind the move, Showtime pushed the show because of its serialized nature, that it's the best watched the week after week and wanted it to air without interruption of the Christmas holidays. The first season of Your Honor ranks as the top debut season ever on Showtime, according to the network. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a fucking badass show. I'm excited for season 2. That makes sense, though. I was worried, like, why were they pushing it? But that makes sense. You don't want to break it up in between Christmas.
Makes sense.
Good deal. George and Tammy, you know who exactly they're talking about. Tammy Wynette and George. The limited series about George Jones and Tammy Wynette, starring Michael Shanahan and Jessica Chastain, moving to Showtime.
Yeah.
The 6-episode drama was previously set to air on the Paramount Network, which nobody has that I know of. I don't.
Yeah.
Instead, the series premiere will now air simultaneously on both Showtime and Paramount Network, commercial free, on December 4th at 9 p.m., immediately after a new episode of Yellowstone, because that's how you get people to watch, is lead in with Yellowstone.
For sure.
All subsequent episodes will then air on Showtime. New episodes will be available streaming and on demand to Showtime and Paramount Plus bundle subscribers on Fridays thereafter, ahead of their linear debut on Sundays at 9 p.m. on Showtime. The show will also begin rolling out in markets where Paramount Plus is available outside the U.S. and Canada. So there you go.
That's very interesting. And Jessica Chastain just wants to be everybody else but herself, apparently.
I mean, right? Like,
Just
come
kidding.
on.
But she's a great actress, so maybe she's going to take home an Emmy this time instead of the Oscar. Paramount Plus announced that Mayor of Kingstown will return for its second season on Sunday, January 15th. The show will launch its first in the U.S. and Canada, and the following day in the U.K. and Australia. A teaser was also shared featuring stars Jeremy Renner and Diane Weist, previewing the aftermath of the prison riot from the first season's finale. Man, oh man, I'm super excited about
For
this.
sure. Another phenomenal trailer if you guys haven't checked it out. All right, jumping over to NBC Universal. A huge fan of the show. I loved it. Lee Majors and all the gang back in the day. I was a huge fan, but I don't know about the movie, guys. Aaron Taylor Johnson is the latest to join Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in the cast of Universal's The Fall Guy, which has a March 1st, 2024 release date. Production for the film, based on the beloved 80s series, is set to begin in Australia this fall. Of course, as I said, the feature film is inspired by the 80s series of the same name and will be directed by David Leitch. Plot details are unknown at this time, but if you're not familiar with it, it's about a stunt guy who works part-time as a bounty hunter, and he chases down, criminals. So yeah, it was really entertaining back in the day. I don't know what the movie is going to be like, but I'm guessing it's going to be the similar plot.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why, but last week I got Aaron Taylor Johnson confused with Will Poulter. I don't know why.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
That
That's
was
okay.
weird.
I mean,
it's fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
no, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
fine. It's fine. Derek Haas is leaving Wolf Entertainment, the writer and producer who co-created Chicago Fire and serves as co-showrunner on both NBC shows and CBS's FBI International, will exit Dick's Wolf Company after finishing out the current TV season. Haas first met with Wolf Entertainment back in 2011, launching Chicago Fire and the One Chicago franchise. Along with co-creator Michael Brandit in 2012, he serves as executive producer and co-showrunner of the procedural. Currently in its 11th season, and Andrea Newman, he is an executive producer of both spinoffs, Chicago PD and Chicago Med, which are airing their 10th and 8th seasons respectively. Now, the news comes amid many casting changes at Wolf Entertainment. Jesse Lee Chauffeur left Chicago PD at the beginning of the season, while Guy Lockhart, Sarah Rafferty, and Asia Cooper exited Chicago Med, and Jeremy Nicholas left Chicago Fire. Brian T. is set to lead the medical drama later this season. Meanwhile, Kelly Giddish was cut from Law & Order SVU this year, and her last episode will air next month. That's a lot of exits, man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of them I feel like they want to do different things.
Well, and keep in mind, guys, one of the things I feel like that made Dick Wolf's original Big Bad Boy franchise so successful, Law & Order, obviously, is the constant change in the cast members every few years.
Yeah.
So this should come to no surprise for anybody that they keep rotating out cast members.
For sure.
He loves to do it. This is really interesting. I don't know if you're excited about this. I'm curious about this. I can't say excited yet. Peacock has given a straight-to-series order to a Friday the 13th prequel currently titled Crystal Lake. And you guys know exactly what Crystal Lake is. Exact plot details are being kept under wraps, although it is described as an expanded prequel. The show will be written by Brian Fuller, who is also the showrunner and an executive producer. Victor Miller, who penned the original film in the franchise, wow, how old is he now? Will also executive produce along with Mark Toberoff and Rob Bersaram and A24. Now, A24 will also serve as the studio behind the series. The original Friday the 13th was released way back in the day in 1980. In that film, Jason is a child who drowns at Camp Crystal Lake. His death leads his mother, Pamela, to seek revenge against the counselor she blamed for her son's death. It grossed nearly $60 million against a budget of only $550,000. So that, yeah, huge numbers back then. And I don't know if a lot of people remember that Jason wasn't actually the killer in the very
In the
first
first
one.
one.
Yeah, it was his mom. So
Yeah, I the only experience I ever have is Freddy versus Jason. I've always been more of a Freddy guy. I love freaking Nightmare on Elm Street.
did you
all
not
of
watch
those.
Padalecki's reboot of Friday the 13th? It
Mm-mm.
was actually pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, so I am curious though, like, and anytime they try to, you already know the ending, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
prequel is always challenging to write. So
Yeah.
like, what are we going to see
To like
them?
set up stuff.
Yeah, are we going to see some sort of a weird mom-son relationship between the mom and
Right.
Jason? And like, I mean, I don't know. So it's going to be interesting.
For sure. The upcoming comedic thriller series based on a true story at Peacock has added 3 new cast members. Tom Bateman, Lena Liberto, and Priscilla Quinita have joined the show as series regulars. They will star alongside previously announced cast members Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina. Based on a true story, was given a straight-to-series order in April. It is one of the latest additions to a growing roster of true crime projects at Peacock, which includes Dr. Death, as well as Joe versus Carol, and the recently launched A Friend of the Family.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting things happening over there, but they're trying to mix it up, which I feel like is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And they're clearly all in on the true crime shit. So.
Yeah.
Now this one's really interesting. If you're a fan of Hallmark movies and Christmas, and you were always like, why can't I ever find them if I don't have Hallmark? Well, you're in luck, because guess what? Just in time for the holiday movie binge season, Peacock's cut a deal with Hallmark Media that calls for the NBC Universal streamer to carry some live linear program as well as on-demand options for Hallmark signature movies. Now, the deal reflects Peacock's efforts to broaden its scope under the new management regime led by President Kelly Campbell. She described it as a first-of-its-kind deal for Peacock, which has struggled with visibility, no shit, and traction amid the larger industry battle for subscribers. This will massively help, though, guys. Hallmark is massively huge in regular cable, and I think this is going to draw a lot of people to them. The Hallmark branded hub on Peacock with content from Hallmark Channel, Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and Hallmark Drama. It debuted already. It's already up there, guys. You can go check it out, and will include Hallmark's expansive slate of Christmas and holiday themed movies, as well as popular drama series such as When Calls the Heart, and 2 new series arriving next year, Ride and The Way Home. So this is going to be huge, because everybody's always wanting to go back and watch, the Hallmark holiday movies. And I feel like now that they have a home on a streamer that people can find really easily, instead of trying to download the Hallmark apps or whatever, that, this is going to be huge for them.
I think so too. And I mean, a lot of Hallmark movies are underrated, but I do think they're getting a lot of attention recently, the past couple of years. So I think it's going to be really good for their brand and good for Peacock to have that, relatability and to drive more people to your streamer.
Because they're not so much formulaic anymore. The scripts are much better, and the diversity in the casting is much better. So yeah, they're luring big stars now. So hey,
exactly. Well, Dolly Parton's 2-hour holiday special film featuring country pop star Dolly Parton is set to debut. Premiere Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas will air Thursday, December 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Pacific Time, wherever you're located on NBC. Musical guests Jimmy Fallon, Willie Nelson, Billy Ray Cyrus, Jimmy Allen, Zach Williams, and her what's their relation? Something godmother, a goddaughter, Miley Cyrus joined Dolly Parton on the special. Tom Everett Scott, Angel Parker, and Anna Grayscher will also star. Mary Lane Haskell, Brian Batt, Brendan Bradley, John Newberg, Rachel Parton George, Cassie Parton Griffith, Rhoda Griffith,
Yeah.
Liam Rudolph, and Steve Summers round out the cast. Are they all related? Because shit, their name sounds the same. The film is described as a modern day movie musical about the making of a network TV special. Throughout the movie's production, numbers, and rehearsal chaos, Parton finds herself taking a private journey into her past. Guided by mysterious appearances of her personal three wise mountain men, the film will include a pair of Parton's iconic songs, 9 to 5 and I Will Always Love You, as well as a new holiday melody. Oh man, would it be kind of fucked up if the gambler was one of her wise mountain men?
I mean, but he's dead.
Would
so
that
we
be
can't,
kind?
we can't
I
do
know that's
it.
what
I
I'm saying. If
know.
they had somebody dress up as him,
That would be interesting. I'm just wondering, is Billy Ray going to be one?
That's a great question.
Is Billy Ray a wise mountain man?
Yeah.
And will he have a mullet?
Yeah, very interesting. Exactly.
But yeah, now I'm really curious as to who the three wise mountain men will be. That's I'm all in on this one. Sony, let's jump over to Sony, and it's not Spider-Man related. Nick Offerman from Parks and Recreation, you know him, you love him, and Tyler Ryder are the latest names to have joined the stacked cast of Sony's movie Dumb Money. The film stars an ensemble cast including Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan, Pete Davidson, Shailene Woodley, Dane DeHaan, Vincent D'Onofrio, Anthony Ramos, American Ferrara, and Mahyla Harold. That's a big cast.
That is.
The film tells the story of the fortunes made and lost overnight in the David versus Goliath GameStop short squeeze that impacted Wall Street. You guys remember that was just a few months ago. Currently in production, the film is being directed by Craig Gillespie.
Yes. A few months ago, you mean a year ago during the pandemic. But
few months, whatever.
For sure. Amazon MGM, Sue Carroll has been named the head of marketing for Amazon Studios after serving as lead consultant on the streamer's extensive rollout campaign for the first season of Lord of the Rings, The Ring of Power. As part of her new role, multiple series and films in production and development at Kroll and Company Entertainment banner will move to Amazon under their first look deal.
Makes
of
sense.
Course. Kroll begins her position with Amazon Studios effective immediately. She will report directly to Amazon Studios chief Jennifer Salke. Now, before launching her own production house back in 2018, Kroll served as a long-time tenure professional as president of a worldwide marketing and distribution for the one and only Warner Brothers Pictures back when it was a better place before a devil named Zaslav. But it is what it is. But I'm interested to see what they do because Netflix and fucking Amazon are always these ones that are wild cards. So we'll see.
I just want to say huge kudos, though, to Jennifer Salke.
Mhm.
While it's not a major yet, it's not a Disney, it's not a Paramount, and not a Warner Brothers yet. Amazon is a studio, and she is doing a fantastic job leading the studio.
Yep.
So if there were any doubt, can a woman lead a studio? Yes, and
Mhm.
she's doing a good job. So congrats to her. Okay, let's jump over to the other wild card, Netflix, and talk about wild card. Here we go, guys and gals. Netflix launched its ad tier plan this week. Have you signed up for it? And several popular series are missing from the streamer's library due to licensing restrictions, including House of Cards and Arrested Development. Now, while the titles still appear in the Discover tab and the search function, they're locked. A small lock icon appears in the top right corner to indicate you don't have it. The basic with ad plans do not have access. As expected, several other series are also not available with the ad tier, including Peaky Blinders, New Girl, The Magicians, The Last Kingdom, The Sinner, Good Girls, Queen of South, The Good Place, and Friday Night Lights. So basically, any show that you're going to Netflix for is not included in the free ad shit.
Yeah.
Just get used to it because everything we just listed is the only reason people go to Netflix to watch. I mean, what the fuck? Netflix executives had already indicated that about 5 to 10% of the programming would be missing from the basic with ads at the tier launch, though up until now it hadn't been clear which titles would be impacted. Yeah, because they tried to keep it secret that it's all the titles that matter. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
they didn't let it slide that it was the big ones that you go to binge, man.
like, what the fuck? Nobody's gonna do the ad-supported tier if they can't watch the only shows they go to fucking watch.
No,
like,
that's
oh my
pretty
god,
stupid. Well, The Witcher has been renewed for the 4th season by Netflix, though the hit fantasy series will be missing one familiar face, the one that matters, Henry Cavill. He will be exiting the production after the upcoming third season debuts, with Liam Hemsworth set to take over as the lead role of Geralt of Rivia. Cavill has starred as the monster hunter Geralt on The Witcher since the Netflix series debuted in 2019. The show's upcoming third season, which has set a release date window of summer of 2023, will now be the actor's last with the series. Both Hemsworth and Cavill also released statements reading into the tone of both statements. The decision seems to be amicable, passing the torch. So we shall see how it continues forward. It will be interesting to see, though, how they make that old switcheroo.
Yeah, and you know what? This just says to me all the rumors that we are hearing over and over about how many slated films that Henry Cavill will now be in for Superman. Yeah, I think this leads credence to they're probably all true.
Yeah.
He's probably stepping away from this because he's going to be so actively involved a shit ton of Superman films he won't have time. So
it makes it.
It's good news. It's bad news for Witcher fans, but it definitely seems like it's great news for Superman fans.
Exactly.
Time isn't up for the Sandman. Guess what? Netflix ordering more episodes of the hit fantasy show adapted from Neil Gaiman's seminal DC Comics series. Netflix is calling the forthcoming installment a continuation of the Sandman world, which will expand in the next episodes. Episode count and story details are still being kept. You know it. You love it. Under wraps.
Makes sense. Well, Guy Ritchie's series follow-up to The Gentleman at Netflix has set its main cast. Joining previously announced series led Theo James in the series will be Kayla Scoladaro, Daniel Ings, Jolie Richardson, Giancarlo Esposito, Peter Saversikovich, and Vinnie Jones, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch star of Vinnie Jones, that guy. The role will see Jones and Ritchie reunite for the first time since Snatch, which debuted in 2000. Per Netflix, the series is set in the same world as the Gentleman film, but will also feature an entirely new cast of characters. Production begins in the UK on November 7th. James stars as Eddie, described as the estranged son of the English escort who inherits the family pile. Now, only to discover that the sting on top of the biggest wheat farm in Europe. So it's going to be very interesting. The Gentleman was a great movie.
Yeah, I loved it with Matthew McConaughey. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm interested to see how they continue that story now.
For sure.
This one, I honestly, I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. The only reason I even know what it is because Emily, as a really itty bitty little girl, had the dolls. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a clue. Fate, the Winx saga, canceled at Netflix after what they always love to do. 2 seasons. The series originally debuted on Netflix in January of 2021, with season 2 launching in September of 2022. Season 1 consisted of just 6 episodes, while season 2 was made up of 7. The series is a live-action reimagining of the Italian cartoon Winx Club. Before this news, Fate, the Winx Club saga appeared to be a success story for Netflix. During the September 5th through 11th viewing window, season 2 debuted on the Netflix top 10 as the second most watched viewed English language TV title and the third most watched title overall, with only Cobra Kai and Narco Saints outranking it. So as usual, Netflix takes their hit shows and cancels them after 2 seasons.
Exactly, man. It makes no freaking sense. But Netflix has announced 6 upcoming natural history documentary series, starting with Our Universe, narrated by the one and only Morgan Freeman. On November 22nd. The show all focuses on different aspects of the natural world, from an expansive look into the universe's origins to life on planet Earth and how oceans operate and exist. Additional new series, including a continuation of 2019's Our Planet with Our Planet 2. A natural historian, David Attenborough, is once again slated to narrate this new series. Netflix said more than 100 million households have watched the original Our Planet since it was released back in April of 2019.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything with Morgan Freeman and David Attenborough, I think, are both going to be successful.
For sure.
Okay. Jumping over to Apple, and a huge hit for Apple, Severance. You guys know it. You love it. Well, it's added 8 new cast members for season 2. The Apple series is cast Gwendolyn Christie, Aaliyah Sakwat, Bob Babalan, Merritt Weaver, Robbie Benson, oh, the Beast, okay, and Ice Castles, fantastic. Stefano Carinanti, John Noble, Fringe fame, and Olafur Dari Alafasan. Okay.
Sure.
They join returning season 1 stars Adam Scott, Patricia Arquette, John Turturro, Britt Lauer, Zach Cherry, Dishan Lockman, Jen Tolick, Tramel Tillman, Michael Cherinis, and Christopher Walken. The castings come as principal photography has already begun on the 2nd season of the Emmy-winning mystery thriller series. So that's a huge cast. That's a lot of additions to an already big cast.
Exactly, man. Completely agree. Well, rounding out the industry news, director Greg Berlanti has been tapping.
Whoa!
Let's restart. Director Greg Berlanti has tapped Ray Romano to join the cast of Project Artemis, the Apple original film's production that stars Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum.
Now we're gonna have to put a disclaimer on the bottom of this show so he doesn't sue the shit out of us, like Ray Romano or Greg Berlanti.
Yeah, either one.
Please, it was a misspeak. It was a misspeak.
And Jim Rash. It's a 1960s space race pick, and it is scripted by Rose Glory. Berlanti is producing with Johansson and her These Pictures cohorts, Jonathan Leah and Keenan Flynn. Apple won the package in a big auction. Wow. I'm crying. Oh, that was a lot. That was a lot, man. I don't know.
Hey, everybody loves Raymond, even Greg Berlanti.
Oh
I mean, I'm
big fan. Big fan. Oh boy. That's funny. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Guys, now it is time for our guest segment. And oh boy, we have the one, the only Jesse Arthur Carroll coming on the show to get a little crazy, to talk about voice acting and a new project that he has out on Netflix right now that you're not going to want to miss. Yeah.
No, I'm still just thinking about Berlanti tapping Ray. I don't even know what to say. Guys, this is a fantastic interview. You guys are going to love it. He smiles throughout because he has such a passion for what he does. He gives phenomenal advice about the importance of knowing why you're getting into an acting career and what not to do, as well as the similarities and differences between voice acting and on-camera acting. It's a really, really great interview for all you up-and-comers.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, here it is. Oh my gosh, guys, that one was rough. Wow, that was a big misspoken situation. Was not expecting that. But if you're a fan and you can check out his interview after the show, it's available right now on YouTube. Be sure to check it out, man. Oh man. Now we're gonna lead into the top 5 segment. Oh man, now it is time for the top 5 segment. And this week is top 5 films that scared us, which I mean, we did have to go back to the childhood because there was a lot of films that don't scare us nowadays. So it's one of those where you're like, okay, think back when I was literally scared and like didn't want to turn off the lights and that type of situation. So had to jump in that mindset. But number 5 for me goes to 1408. Now, this is a John Krasinski film. Not a lot of people know about it unless you lived through that time when it came out. A lot of younger people don't know about it. John Krasinski, Samuel L. Jackson, and it's in this room basically where it's a haunted room and you basically can't get out and you don't know whether you're alive or dead and all this fucking crazy shit. You always hear horror stories about hotels and hotel rooms where bad shit happens, especially fucking Greg Berlanti tapping Ray Romano. I mean, that's pretty bad. But this one right here, it was very scary when I first watched it. So I think it's definitely worth a watch. Definitely check it out. 1408.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, scary shit in the hotel rooms. That's not no kidding. My number 5. Guys, this film, I wasn't a wee youngin'. I was a bit younger than I am now, but it still was scary as shit. That cat and that kid scared the shit out of me. I'm talking about Pet Sematary. Okay, when Church comes back and he's doing that, I didn't want to go near my fucking cat. I was like, fuck no. Anytime my cat would purr, I'm like, oh shit. This is a scary ass movie. If you guys aren't familiar with it, Stephen King. And basically it's about a pet cemetery, and they bury these pets and they come back to life, but they're fucking evil and demonic and shit. Well, this family's young son gets fucking nailed by an 18-wheeler, and they bury him in the pet cemetery, and he comes back to life as a fucking demonic child who looks a lot like a young Prince George. I'm not kidding. Just go. You look at the pictures, okay? You decide for yourself what he does. It's creepy as shit. Like the thought of burying somebody and them coming back as like demonic killer like people, it's fucking terrifying. I mean, everybody wants to bring back somebody they've lost, but not like that.
No, that's definitely an experience right there.
Yeah, no, and like I said, the reason it scared me is because I literally, if I'm sitting at home trying to go to bed and the lights are all off and I hear my cat, I'm like, oh fuck! It just scared the shit out of me. Like,
exactly, man. Exactly. Number 4 for both of us. I think it was less scary, but more on the edge of our seats. And this was one of the films that was. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of those recently. So we're talking about A Quiet Place. I mean, John Krasinski did an amazing job with this one. And there's literally like only 2 or 3 pages of dialogue throughout this whole thing. And it was still very freaking entertaining. But just to the anticipation, I think that's what kept us on the edge of our seats, to see the monster too. We all have had nightmares and dreams about this type of situation, to where like you can't do a certain movement, or you can't make a certain sound, or something will come after you and get you or find you and all these things. And I think this film brought that to existence. So I think that's why it popped up on both of our lists.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the most terrifying scenes, the most intense on the edge of your seat, is when she's giving birth in that bathtub, but can't make a fucking sound while she's doing it. Like, you ever seen a woman try to give birth without making noise? I mean, holy shit. And you're right. Like, I think the one thing that they did the best that keeps you on the edge of the seat, and sometimes it's more scary, more terrifying with what you don't see, as opposed to what you see. And it's a long time without seeing what they're terrified of. And I think that always goes to make a good movie, when you're terrified by something you can't see.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's a great, if you haven't checked it out, what the fuck, get ready. The third one's coming. Come on.
Exactly. Number 3 for me is actually a newer one. Literally just came out a couple weeks ago, and it is Smile. A lot of people were talking about how this one was actually scary, and we were like, but I actually went and saw it, and the anticipation of everything, and just the subtleness. They did really well with not over scaring or not over using jump scares. It was the slightest things, like little tiny like voices you would hear. It'd be like, was that a real voice, or was I just imagining things? And like the creepiness of not knowing if something was real or not. So I thought this was a brilliant film. Definitely well done for the Halloween season, the spooky season. So definitely check that one out. I really enjoyed it.
For sure. My number 3 is a franchise, and I've loved every one of them so far, but I'm going to go with the original, Insidious.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. This movie is about another family, Rose Byrne. I just love her. She's fantastic. About a young son who falls into a coma and then is stuck in the limbo world, and his body is possessed by an evil being.
Yeah.
And the dad has to go in after him and try to get him out and everything. It's fucking terrifying. Again, the things we do for our kids, but holy shit, it was terrifying. And I don't know what's more scary in this. The creepy, like, demonic thing that's like inhabiting the kid's body, and that they're fighting inside the limbo world or whatever, or the fucking exorcist woman. I think she's terrible. She was more scary than the fucking demon. I mean, she's a great actress, but she's been in a lot of different stuff, but yeah, she scared the shit out of me. I'm just like, man, I think I'd rather stay possessed. I mean, this woman is terrifying.
Okay.
But if you haven't checked it out, it's a great franchise. Give it a watch. I think you'll be really, and James Wan is the guy behind it, the mastermind, The Conjuring, and like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it only makes sense. He's pretty good at horror.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Number 2 for me goes to The Blair Witch Project. This, just like A Quiet Place, it's the anticipation. It's, did I hear something? Was the horror story true? You never see a witch the whole time. And I was just literally on the edge of my seat, watched it in the dark. dark, like turned off all the lights. It was nighttime. I did not want to leave the room. Absolutely terrifying. But this was the one and only type of this filmmaking that you should ever do, in my opinion. I did not like any of the Paranormal Activities or that fucking one where it was like a monster, this guy like escaping his house and like a big ass monster, and he's recording it on his fucking thing. I hate that type of filmmaking, but the original one with that type is good. So the Blair Witch Project, definitely check it out. It made me like actually research, did this shit actually happen?
Yeah,
So,
and listen, guys, yeah, it spawned a shit ton of copycat movies,
It
but
did.
it's a huge, massive success story for Hollywood because this movie was basically shot for like nothing and literally made hundreds of millions of dollars. It's the
Yeah.
way to do it. Not that don't do the live camera follow shit. I just mean dirt cheap, make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. I have a theme going here, and my number 2, I am diving all the way back to my childhood, and it's Linda Blair. It's the fucking demonic head spinning when she's possessed and she jumps out of the bed and the fucking priest is like with the car. The Exorcist. Holy shit. It terrified me as a kid that a demon could get into a body and do that shit to somebody, and like even the priest can't fight it. Like, no, like if you haven't seen this movie, I can't believe you haven't seen it, but just that scene, Linda Blair is fucking unbelievably terrifying in this movie. But that scene where her head fucking spins around and she starts talking all like, oh my fucking God. I didn't sleep for like months. I was just terrified. I'm like, does this really happen? And then yeah, some people really believe that exorcisms and demonic possessions happen, and there's like lots of proof out there and different. So, like you said, it's terrifying when you start doing the research to see, is this real? Is this not real? Does this happen or not happen? And just whatever your beliefs are, the movie's fucking terrifying. So go back and don't watch it with the kids.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But like if you want a good scare, The Exorcist with Linda Blair. Holy shit.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Number 1 for me goes to probably the first scary movie I ever watched. And I mean, of course, that makes an impact on you when you're a child. And I'm talking about It, Tim Curry's television movie, It. We had the DVD growing up, and you had to literally flip sides from, the child stuff and then the fucking kid stuff back when you had DVDs and had to fucking flip them and shit. But I loved it, though, because one, clowns were already scary as fuck, and my brother hated them, and I thought it was hilarious to watch, to fucking creep him out. But I thought the jump scares in this, I felt like were so perfectly timed, and just Tim Curry's dialogue and him as Pennywise is just so spot on. So I just really enjoyed it. Never read It, like the actual book, a single day in my life. I probably will at some point, but I heard it's even more terrifying than the actual film. But yeah, number 1 for me goes to It.
Yeah, the original with Tim Curry, terrifying as shit. The new ones, terrifying as shit. Like yeah, it's a creepy story, and it's pretty scary. I'm right there with you. My number 1, I watched it as a kid. It might be, if my memory serves me right, the first real horror movie I ever watched. I'm still scarred. I'm still scarred. I am talking about Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall and the single most terrifying film I have ever seen, without doubt, The Shining. And I'll tell you, yeah, as creepy as the blood coming through the elevator is, as creepy as, the Danny's not here anymore, Mrs. Torrance, blah, 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 it's all terrifying. It's the fucking twins.
It's the twins.
The twins in the hallway scared the ever-living shit out of me. I didn't want to walk into a hallway in my house, in a hotel, anywhere, because I was terrified those twins were going to be there and wanting to play. And I'm like, fuck you, Mom. I'm not going anywhere where a hallway is ever again. I was terrified of them. And then at the end, the last thing you see, which just, if you're not terrified enough by the twins, is Jack's fucking frozen face in that maze, that snow maze. And it's like, oh my God, like, what are we doing right now? And the sad thing is just like Stephen King hated it. He hated that version, but that film, anybody I've ever spoken to fucking loves the film and was terrified by it. And just everybody talks about the twins. And I mean, come on, Danny Torrance. I mean, that's the creepiest. Red Rum. I mean, holy shit. Like, Sleep Doctor, I was not so impressed with. the sequel to it and
Yeah.
everything, not so much. But The Shining, definitely my number one of all time scary shit movies. And twin, I'm a twin. I was terrified of twins.
Terrified of twins.
Terrified of twins.
Exactly.
Like, I hate those girls. I mean, I still hate those girls. They're probably grown ass women by now. They're for sure grown ass women, older than me.
Literally.
And I'm terrified of them.
That's so funny.
I wonder what they look like now.
That's a great question.
And do they still have the dresses?
Right? Exactly. Do they go as themselves as Halloween?
Oh my God, they should still go as adult versions of the fucking twin. Oh my
Oh.
God, I would be, if I saw them on the street, grown ass women in those dresses, I would run for my fucking life. I'm not even kidding. I would
For
run.
sure. Well, guys, we want to know, what is the top film that scared the shit out of you? Please be sure to comment below in the comment section or on social media. We love the fan interaction. We love just talking to you guys. You guys
For
are
sure.
awesome. Well, heading over to box office recap. Of course, like we said in the industry news, Black Adam remained at number one. It had $27.5 million. Oh, that was probably like a fucking 60-something% drop off. Fucking subtweet to that guy last week. Number two was Ticket to Paradise with 9.8 million. That was actually really freaking good, guys. I mean, I really hope rom-coms are making their way back into cinemas because they're just happy. They're good times.
They are.
So check it out. Number three was Pray for the Devil with 7.2 million. Number four was Smile with 5.4, and number five was Halloween Ends with 5.1 million. New movies coming out this week. Not a lot, really. The Invaders, Armageddon Time, She Said, Bones and All, and The Whale.
Yeah, I want to see The Whale. That's the one with Brendan Fraser, y'all, that everybody's talking Oscar nomination
Yeah.
for. It was limited release, but I definitely want to see that film.
I know. We definitely got to find what theater is fucking carrying this thing.
Hell yeah.
It does look good.
Hell
It does
yeah.
look good. Movies you can go see right now: Till, Lyle
I
Lyle,
want to see that
Crocodile.
too.
Yeah. Terrifier 2, The Woman King, and Tar. IMDbPro's top trending segment. Nothing really changed a lot this week. Black Adam is still the top trending movie. House of the Dragon is still the top trending show. But Leslie Jordan is the top trending star.
And unfortunately, I hate when our top trending top trending star is for sad reasons. And
Yeah.
you guys know Leslie was tragically killed in a car accident where they think it was like a medical problem that caused him to lose control. And I hate when they're trending because they've passed. It's
Most
sad,
definitely.
but what a funny guy he was.
He
too.
was
I mean,
great. I feel like he lit up every room.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, man. But, guys, thank you so much for getting crazy with us up on 211 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We got to thank our guest, Jesse Arthur Carroll, one more
Yes.
time for getting crazy with us. Be sure to follow him on social media, and you can follow us on social media. The company is at Crazy Ant Media. The podcast is at ITCAFpodcast, and we are at JLo Fantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
yes, sir. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the
Yes.
latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. Be sure to visit our website as well, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest greatest gear, catch up on anything coming out of Crazy Ant Media, and watch our film Deadlines. Be
Yes.
sure to check that out. And guys, this was a great show. I love it. I love when we get just to talk about industry news. There's a lot of different stuff that's happening. I think this week the thing I enjoyed most was the roller coaster of emotions that is Warner Brothers Discovery right now.
Yeah.
Because there's some really good things and then there's some really low things. So it's just very interesting to see how that makes sense in their minds, man. Like, because on the outside looking in, it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And you know who the happiest person in Hollywood is about all that nonsense at Warner Brothers Discovery right now? Bob Chapek, because nobody's talking about him right now and all of
Literally.
his fuck ups. He's like,
Literally.
thank you, Zaslow. Bob Chapek sent him a thank you card personally signed.
Exactly.
It's like, it's odd what he's trying to do. I still believe that his goal is to sell Warner Brothers off. He's trying to get himself to have Discovery be the big mamma jamma that he always wanted it to be, and then he's going to use everything he can to do that and then sell that shit off as far as Warner Brothers goes. But I hope that's not the case, but I think it is.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, though, what probably my favorite part of the show is you and I have had a lot of misspeaks on the show. We've stumbled on some stuff before. We always get a good laugh. This may be the single greatest spoken word ever
It was bad.
from either one of us.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And please, disclaimer, it was a clear misspeaking. It was a clear, I've never laughed that hard on this show ever.
Yeah.
That was freaking fantastic. And we love them both.
Yeah.
We love Ray Romano. We love Greg Berlanti. I mean, the Arrowverse god, Greg Berlanti, and loved Simon and all the amazing stuff he's done. It was fucking hilarious.
As soon as it came out, I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, he's like, oh, I just said that. Shit.
It's so funny, guys. It's so funny. Well, we appreciate you guys for getting a little crazy with us again. Like I said, thank you so much for getting crazy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And you guys know we love the one, the only Oprah. Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious.
Yo. Wow. Have you ever had a moment like that? You know you have. Everybody's had one. Oh my gosh, so good.
Boy, it was crazy,
so
guys.
Good.
That's why crazy is in the name. That's why crazy is in the name.
Now I just really want to have Ray and Greg on just to talk about it.
I want to explain. I want to explain.
Please come on and let us explain.
Please. But guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy time with your family because you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, just enjoy some football. Lay back, chill, crack open a brewski, and just live your best life.
Hell yeah. Go blue and go Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
And go LSU.
Yeah, exactly. Have a good one, guys. Oh.